All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another great episode of Facts and Stats. It is now episode 76. Here, along with me, I have a special guest. I'm allowing him to introduce himself shortly, but before we get to him, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell a friend about everything that we have going on here at Facts and Stats. And then, special guest, go ahead and tell us who you are, what you do, and
For sure. My good people, how y'all doing? It's your boy Devin. This name tapping in on Facts and Stats. A little bio about me, really quick. I'm currently the executive producer and creative director for several pro athletes and brands. Athletes such as Javale McGee, Quinn Cook, Troy Daniels, things you might have seen on YouTube. As well as I am now the director of athlete partnerships at STN Digital, where I am turning athlete content into cash for them and making them just dollars on their story. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you again for reaching out for having me as a guest appearance, and excited to talk to you about obviously what's going on in the sports world and things that I might know about, and just give your viewers a little insight, man. I'm excited to be here.
definitely. It was a definitely honor for you to respond back to me. I heard you in the Twitter space, and everything that you were saying sounded so fluently, and feel like I can gain some information from you. But this is sort of kind of my favorite time of the year, when it gets to that January, February year range around the sports
Yeah.
world, because you have the playoffs, you have the NBA All Star break coming up, and then one of the most popular things, the March Madness coming up. So you can
Whew.
see sort of kind of who's the good teams and who's not the good teams in college basketball. But anything is possible in the March Madness tourney.
Anything,
Um,
man. Anything's possible there.
it was an amazing, not so much amazing, but an interesting wild card weekend in playoff football this past weekend. We've seen a lot of blowouts. We didn't really see too many good games. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with you before I get to my other question. What was your favorite game and why this past weekend?
You know what? My favorite game had to be, and well, I know we're going to talk about it, but that Niners Cowboys game, man. Like, if you watched that game at the start, so to give you some quick background on this, my wife used to work for the 49ers. So we root for the 49ers from time to time. I went to college and was teammates with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh
So
wow.
I am good, we still keep in contact and stuff like that. So I root for his career. So
Hmm.
anything going on with the Niners, I'm like, yo, let's do this. One of my best friends is a diehard Cowboys fan. So like there was all that shit talking, especially in the Bay Area, of like, yo, we gonna do this thing in the D, man. We gonna win this is our year. And they're like, every single year you gotta hear of Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
And man, dude, I love Dak Prescott. Let's not get it twisted. I love Dak Prescott. I love a black quarterback. But my goodness, to lose a game like that, and again, they were getting cooked. And I'm like, gosh, the Niners are gonna blow this. Cowboys gonna do some miraculous thing to win this. Oh my gosh, to see the way that game ended, because as you mentioned earlier, a lot of those other games, blowouts.
Yeah, blowouts.
Weren't interesting. We were like, why are you even on the field? That was the game you're watching, like, damn, that's how this one ends. I don't even really recall the other games because they were just like scrimmages. This
Yeah,
was
pretty
the
much.
game, and that's the most remarkable one because we were watching that live, like, wow, this is playoff football right here.
Right here, yeah, for sure, for sure. That game, and we might as well go ahead and stick here really quickly before we get to the other games that weren't
Mm-hmm.
as exciting to us. Um, the 49ers obviously started out fast. Not even just fast. They just played at a better game, a better brand of football in the first half than the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And we seen the Cowboys get a late game interception, also a forced fumble, and they had a chance. But so, what do you think was going through their mind, sort of, kind of, to that last possession, to where Dak Prescott chose to scramble for about 15 yards?
Man, I
you know, I try to process it over and over and over, and I just couldn't understand.
I know all I know is he was trying to make a play, and I
Right.
get it. I understand. Like, you have every single year have those Cowboys been just at that, like, they are there every single year, and you're like, all right, this is the team, because you looked at this team this year, even at the beginning of the season, you're like, they're gonna be okay as long as they stay healthy. They got their O line back for this game.
Hmm.
O line, because they couldn't get no running game on the 49ers defense. It's not bad, but I'm not gonna say they're the greatest. But that 49 defense held Zeke to, I don't even remember how many yards, but it was not much. It was not
Not
much.
much, not at all. He didn't
So,
have over 40
and
rushing yards.
that's what, yeah, it was like
Yeah,
31, 32,
yeah,
something like that.
37 like that. So,
Oh my goodness. And that offensive line all year long was talked about how good they are.
hmm
I heard nothing but how good that offensive line is. Then you can get that man not even 40 rushing yards in a playoff game,
Right.
life on the line, checks on the line. You couldn't get that. So for Dak, he's like, I got to make a play. And all year long, we saw what happened with him. That's why he got hurt earlier
Mm-hmm.
because he was out there trying to make plays, right? CeeDee Lamb trying to catch everything. He got hurt that second to last play.
Yeah, he did.
You remember that? He
Yeah,
caught that out route. He ran his ankle. They were like, no, get your ass
Get
right
back
back
out there. Yeah.
he hobbled his last back out there. And you're like, all right, cool. Amari, I don't even know what Amari was doing. I don't know if he was. I don't know if he was.
He had a touchdown, but I feel like his stat wasn't on the game really. That stat really wasn't there. I just think nobody on the Cowboys offensive side of the ball really like put their imprint or their made their presence felt on the field that night. It was clear as day. Right. 49ers all the way. Elijah and Debo controlled the game.
Oh my gosh!
And I want to touch
Debo.
on Debo.
Debo Samuel's amazing.
That's what I want to touch on. I think this is probably one of the most amazing football players in the league right now. I seen a stat today that he lined up at running back 13 times, slot 13 times, and wide out 19 times, all in that game. Now just imagine the wear and tear that he takes and the body preparation that he does week in and week out. So a big shout out to Debo Samuel. He's a heck of a football player. He's really grown on my chart, for the football players that I like. But let's talk about some of the positives that the 49ers did in that game. What do you see there from them?
You mentioned the run game. And we talked I've talked to people all year about the Niners run game and how they were pretty much a running back by committee. And I don't even remember the week that Debo Samuel started playing running back.
Me neither.
But that week changed everything. That week changed everything because Elijah Mitchell came in because I forgot who started the season for him because it wasn't Elijah.
So I would assume Mostert was there. I'm not sure if he was there, but you had Mostert, and then he went down.
Oh my god, it was him.
Yeah, it was Mostert.
That's how long this season is.
It's been a real long season. Mostert went down pretty early, and then you had Elijah. Elijah started to take off, and then you had Trey Sermon for a game or two, and then Elijah just looked like that guy. Came in. Yeah, he just looked like that guy.
So Elijah came in, looks like that guy. He gets hurt. Then all three, Debo's like, "Hey, you gonna have to play running back." Yeah. Then he was like, "Hold on, we could do some things here," because again, they were playing that Jimmy could do all this stuff with his wide receivers, but at the end of the day, they weren't throwing. They couldn't get the deep pass because they're double covering. Kittle was hurt off and on.
Right.
So there was so much they were doing. So I guess that move for Debo to running back was the move because then you look at the stats. I just put up. You look at the stats from the playoff game. Debo ran 10 times, 72 yards. He had 7 yards a carry. Then Elijah 27 for 96, just shy. Both had touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
That is huge. And again, we just talked about the Cowboys, 37 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Come on now.
The 49ers, outdid them pretty much at the Cowboys sort of kind of started to go away from a balanced attack when Dak sort of kind of started to evolve. Last year, for example, even though Dak went down, they sort of kind of was showing that they were a passing offensive team. I don't think that was the right balance for them when it comes to feeding Zeke and trying to make that team go. And Dak all season long was hesitant to run the ball. In the back of his mind, that ankle surgery was still clicking in his head a little bit. But like you said, the Cowboys are there almost every year. I like the teams that they've been built over the last 5 years or whatnot. They're a playoff team, and hopefully they shake back next year. Diggs,
I do too, because as you're about to mention, I mean to cut you off, but going on to that defensive side,
right.
With Trevon Diggs and his evolution of the secondary that could never stop a cold, that was a huge story. And that's one of the really big things you wanted to see from Dallas was can they stop somebody? And now they know they have some good pieces. You think of Michael Parsons off the edge was he a rookie? So yo, you got some great pieces, and that's what they've been missing. And they just got to really dial in that offense, I think, because as you mentioned, I just pulled up the Cowboys stats. They only rushed 16 times, 12 through Zeke. 4 through Tony Pollard, who I thought was a great running back this year when he had time to actually run.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if you don't give him a chance, and 4 rushing attempts, 12 rushing attempts, that's not going to win it. Dak throwing 43 times in a playoff game and having to run for his life half of those times. That's not going to get it done. And I know they're sick there because they had this was the year you really thought they had all the pieces at least get to the championship game.
For sure. I definitely agree with you there easily. But like you said, I don't think the Cowboys had that defensive star, that defensive spark, really since DeMarcus Ware. So hopefully
Yeah.
Micah Parsons can be that guy that can sort of kind of set the edge, set the tone for that team, along with DeMarcus Lawrence, Diggs, and so forth. Um, that's enough 49ers and Cowboys. Hell of a game. It was a great game. It was a great game.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the next week's game, but I'm gonna get back to
for
you
sure.
on that. So we're going to go ahead and skip all these other wild card games. Well, one more game that I want to tap in on before we get to divisional round
Hmm.
talks. We seen the Raiders. Raiders and Bengals play. I know you're. I think you're out that area. Well, Las Vegas Raiders now, but we seen the Raiders and Bengals play 19-26. Bengals end up winning. Jamar Chase.
Mm.
He was Jamar Chase, man. He's not looking like a rookie at all. Haven't been looking like a rookie all season, and it's just crazy that he forgoed his junior year and still went top 5 in the draft and looked like he probably could have went higher than that.
Listen,
But
Jamar
yeah,
Chase is that dude, and this is what's gonna make me the most mad because you do fantasy drafts and you're about to draft people. Jamar was on my board. And I had one person around. I said, I'm gonna go for this rookie. I'm gonna get him. Somebody else got him, and all year long, I was like, I knew it because I don't know what it was. There was just something about the young man. I'm like, after seeing what happened with Justin Jefferson, I think that's what it
right,
really was. You see
right.
what happened with Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. I'm like, now you get Joe and his boy
Mm-hmm.
together. That's gonna be something. It may not be the craziest thing that first year, but this exceeded my expectation. 116 catches, passing yards. I'm sorry, receiving yards in the playoff game. Come on, son.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As a
And
rookie, come on, man.
as a rookie, and made sure that he found his way to get into the end zone. It's like he had the knack for that end zone. His season was amazing. He excelled. All the top
Amazing.
wide receivers prior to him: Justin Jefferson, Odell, Randy Moss, and so forth. So I mean, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into the divisional. And I want to sort of kind of swing it back to the team you support a little bit, 49ers. They now have to play the Packers. A Rod is 0-3,
Ooh.
against them. Um, it'll be an interesting game. So I just want to see what's your thoughts on that game. Do you give the 49ers a real shot? And how do you think the Packers, if any team, can even contain Debo Samuel?
Man, I think looking at the schedule of the divisional games next to the Rams Bucks game, this is the game I'm really looking forward to because you get a guy like Aaron who you got to remember he's from the Bay Area too. So
Okay.
anytime he plays the Niners, he always has a little bit about him where like he wants to do really well against them.
Okay.
And then sometimes he just trips over himself because he really wants to excel against them. Because that was a team he really thought he was going to go to if you look back at it. Um, I really think they're gonna put the works on the Niners, unfortunately, because it's in Green Bay. I'm based out of Chicago, so like it's cold here, man. Like
Yeah.
it's chilly. Again, Jimmy's a Chicago boy. He knows how to play in the cold. Like he gets that. The problem is when you bring some other folks who don't know how to play in that cold, it's different.
Yeah.
I do like the Niners in this. I think Debo and those guys will get some good shots on the run, on the ground, but I am nervous about the passing game a little bit. Again, playing at Lambeau is no joke.
Mm-hmm.
Playing at Lambeau in January is no joke.
Yeah.
So I think the Packers edge out this one. I do think it could be a potentially close game, just dependent on that run game that's going to help out Jimmy. But if it's all falls on his shoulders and he has to pass, let's say 2 out of 3 downs,
Mm-hmm.
I am a bit nervous for that. Also, weather permitting, I mean, that's Green Bay. That's Green Bay stuff, man. Like
Yeah.
if they get any sort of snowfall, any sort of wind chill, any sort of anything there, they're going to figure out a way to use that to their advantage because that's home. So, as much as I kind of really want to see the Niners win, I think the Packers are going to edge that one out.
Uh, it, I'm sort of kind of going to side with you on this one. I do
Mm-hmm.
think I don't. I think that it's a lot of going on, and obviously around the playoff time where A Rod can't finish in the playoffs. AFC
Mm.
Championship record, his divisional playoff record, all that. But the 49ers, they are going to make it interesting. I'm going to go ahead and side with you on that one. Prior to the season ending, they beat the Rams. They
Mm-hmm.
they've been on a little roll. They just came off beating the Cowboys, and now they're going to go ahead and face the Packers. I do think they're going to make it a little interesting, but they're probably going to lose by 10 or more. I will go ahead and say that. I think A Rod and Devontae Adams just on a mission, man.
The
Unfortunately,
mission.
yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, it's not the matchup that I wanted to see, but hopefully, I can see that matchup the next round if it gets there. But yeah, I think they're on a mission. I'm gonna go ahead and side with you on this one. I think the Packers will win, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep the next question in the NFC. So
Okay.
this has been my Super Bowl team, my Super Bowl pick, since week one. prior to the Odell, prior to pretty much everything. I love everything that the Los Angeles Rams had going on coming into this season. Adding Matthew Stafford, they needed that quarterback that was
Yeah.
going to take them to the next level. Jared Goff wasn't that guy. Cam Akers emerged last year but got hurt in the offseason, and now he's back. And Cam Akers is an amazing story. He get hurt in July, and now he's playing playoff football this weekend.
I know I didn't even hear that story until Sunday, and I was like, or until the game day, and I was like, he broke his what?
Yeah,
He's doing what?
yeah,
Come on, man.
yeah.
That is crazy to think about.
And they had him on the shelf the past couple of weeks. He was practicing. He came out this weekend, 17 carries, 55 yards, one catch, 40 yards. That's 18 touches and 95. That's pretty crazy to think about the way Sony Michel been playing. Rams Bucks. That was my pick to win the Super Bowl. They now face the reigning Super Bowl champions in the divisional round. I need to hear your thoughts on this game, man. Brady, Rams, Ramsey, Miller, Aaron Donald, the whole nine. What's your thoughts on this game coming up?
This game is the stars of stars, man. Like, like you're getting everything you want. You get the flashiness, LA, Odell doing his thing, Jalen doing his thing. Like you said, Matt Stafford has deserved this probably more than any quarterback in the NFL. That man was dying in Detroit, and you hate to see it because he was so good. This is his time. And I hate that he has to go against the Bucs, bro. I hate it because this is what I really wish was the NFC Championship game more than anything.
Yeah.
I wish this was next week. I don't want this now because he don't deserve it. But it's gonna come down to those defenses. Tom's gonna do his thing. I think that Rams offense is gonna do its thing because they got a little swagger with them this year. It's got to be the defenses that steps up, and which defense is gonna do it? Because you got to remember, you talk about the great stars that are on LA, Vaughn, Aaron, Jalen. You got to turn around and look at the Bucs, who got some big hitters on that side.
Yeah.
And they're hungry for a back-to-back. And they had a lot of guys come back from injury, right? Antoine Winfield, Carlton Davis. You still got a lot of bigger guys down the low doing their thing. I can't think of the front line right now, but they have been just nasty. They have been.
But to budge in really quickly, so we know. Obviously, AB had his antics a couple weeks ago. He's out. He's gone. Chris Godwin tore his ACL. He's out. He's gone. Fournette, he didn't play wildcard round, but I'm assuming he does play in the divisional round.
Right.
But do you think the lack of a true wide receiver option outside of Evans and Gronk, or receiving threat outside of Evans and Gronk, could affect the Bucs in any way to where the Rams may be able to pull it out versus the Rams having Kupp, Odell, who scored 6 touchdowns in 9 games, Van Jefferson, Higbee? So what's your thoughts on that? Do you think the wide receiver options or threats will affect Tom Brady? Because as I've been watching the games, he's not really up to par or head on with Scotty Miller, the Tyler Johnsons, Rashad Perriman, who they just brought back. But it's still not enough reps, to get, that good separation and so forth. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I will say the stars are going to have to step up on that offense. You said the Crocs and that Mike Evans and those folks. However, it's so hard to count out Tom in anything because he's made mediocre wide receivers look like all pros in just one game. If you look at the crazy amount of wide receivers he had in, New England, using Scotty Miller here is a great example. I think him and Scotty have a lot of hits and misses, but when they hit, it is nasty. So if that's one of those people that hits on this weekend, that's gonna piss off a lot. I know people are gonna be throwing punches in the air because, if I get beat by a dude named Scotty Miller on a slot route to go to the next round, and my check is going, I am furious. It's so hard. Those guys got to step up for sure. But if there's anybody that's gonna will them to a win, it's gonna be Tom Brady. It's gonna be him. If you would have gave me any other quarterback, I'd have been like, nah, Rams got this. I think it's just too much. Again, using the Dak example, love Dak. I think if he was in this situation, even that would have been a much worse situation for him this past week.
That's true.
But Tom, I don't know how he does it, bro. That dude's whatever he got to bottle it up and sell it. Because I promise you, people gonna pay for it $1 million a bottle. He doing something.
Okay, so you told me you have the Packers taking down 49ers. So what's your
Mm-hmm.
pick for this? You're saying a lot, but you're not telling me who you got winning the game.
No,
I need to
I
hear who you
know.
got winning the game. So down the road, when I look back at this episode, I can say he said this, he said that, Devin said, So who you got winning this game?
Yeah. I mean, I have to go with my. God, I love it. The Odell cherry just really messed me up because I love Odell. But looking at this man, I want to. The only reason I want to go. No, I'm gonna go to upset. I'm going to LA.
Okay, I was hoping you said the Bucks. I'm going to go ahead and go right.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was going to, but because I picked Aaron in the next round, I really wanted the Niners Bucks was my original NFC Championship game I wanted this year. So Tom versus his prodigy, Bay Area team, versus Florida. Like I really like that, but LA versus Green Bay would be so.
It'll be fire. It definitely will be fire. And I'm hoping that it does come out to be, because honestly, I wouldn't mind which team makes a Super Bowl out of those two teams. A-Rod's story would be amazing. Because we all know A-Rod and Devontae Adams is probably gone this off season. Especially A-Rod. Yeah. So that'll be interesting.
He might go to the Niners. Honestly, he might end up going back to the crib.
Hearing you say that he's from the Bay Area, that literally clicked in my head. I didn't even know that. So that'll be interesting. They have the offensive weapons for him that'll make them, a little satisfied with Ayuk and Debo, George. So that'll be interesting.
All that.
We're gonna go ahead and take it to the AFC side before we wrap up those NFL talks. This game right here coming up is going to be rather interesting. Like you said, we were just talking about this team. I like the connection that they have with Joe Burrow and all the wide receiver options that they have. They have a running game. They have a nice tight end. They have a defense, and then, but when you look at the other team that they're facing, they sort of kind of have that same type of swagger, but not that good of a quarterback. I don't think Tannehill is good as Joe Burrow. I think Burrow is clearly better. But they have their megastar, the league leading rusher before he went down in the past couple of years, Derrick Henry returning. Derrick Henry, Julio, who has been subpar this season, but still Julio, A.J. Brown. Titans versus Bengals. I think that's going to be a low-key game to where people are going to be like, man, I don't really know who's going to win, but it's going to be a hell of a game. So I just want to hear your thoughts on that game coming up. Who you got winning that game and why?
No, you know what? I love this game. I love this matchup so much.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow. Let's just talk about Joe Burrow for a second. Joe Burrow is a boss. Like that man.
That swag with him. He got that swag.
That's one of the only coach pushing white dudes I can really rock with in life. Like he is a hilarious man. Like I love his energy. I love what he brings to this. And again, they're like, we don't really talk about teams in Cincinnati often. So like this is great to see what he's brought to them. After an ACL tear last year too. Like he has done some incredible things this year. So I want to make sure he gets his love and his props. And I agree with you. I think he's much better than Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
I think Tannehill has the experience. But I think Tannehill does a lot of stuff where he gets his own mind really quickly. Versus Joe, who's kind of like that newer generation of quarterbacks. You know what? I did fuck up. But guess what? We're going to go right back out there. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Like that new generation of quarterbacks is a little something different than the generation like 5 years ago even, right? So I think they're going to be great in the air. But like you said, Tennessee just has weapons. Yeah. Like Derek coming back, and if Derek is 70% himself, he's still the league's best rusher. I don't care who you put him up to. That man is a man amongst boys, whomever he goes up against.
Every week.
That offensive line can get him 75 yards and a touchdown. You get Julio, who, like you said, has been very subpar this year, and is honestly extremely disappointing to me as somebody who's worked for the Falcons. Like, I wanted to see Julio cook in Tennessee, especially off that annex to leave Atlanta. So, him, you get Brown, even the tight end there. I'm blanking on his name right now, but
I can't remember it right now.
But he's been playing well as well. Like they have a solid offensive team that really helps. If all Tannehill's got to do is get the ball to him, like in the right spots. He doesn't have to like really make too many plays himself, whether it's on the feet, it's in the pocket. Like he has a great team around him. I do see though. I think Cincy pulls this one out. Ooh. I think Cincy pulls up the upset though. I think Cincy pulls up the upset because I just want to see the spice, man. Like Cincy had a hell of a run the last 4 weeks to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like they beat some big teams And this is the first year they won a division in, I forgot what it was, like
How
8 years
long?
or
Yeah,
something.
a long
It was
time.
so long. So, like, for them to do that, they can't lose the momentum now. I think the Titans are strong. Their defense is strong, too. You still got, like, Budgie Green, all those guys that really lead that side and are still very communicative. But, man, I just think Cincy's got a little swagger with them this year that's just different. You know what I mean? And I
I,
hope they presents.
I'm gonna agree with you, but I'm gonna go with the Titans winning. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It's hard for me to say. I support the Ravens. I like watching AFC North football. I'll say that.
Okay.
So to see the Bengals come up and emerge, I know they're going to be problems for years to come for every single team in that
I
division. Um, but I like you're touching on the Bengals and they're them closing out the last 4 weeks to make the playoffs and win that division. I want to more so praise the Titans for what they did. To lose Derrick Henry for pretty much half the season and finish as the number one seed in the AFC. Now I'm not saying they're a
nuts.
fluke, but they're probably not the most scariest number one team in the recent years. In recent years you had the Ravens, the Patriots, the Chiefs. So I can see why you'll say the Bengals will win the game, but ultimately, I think the Titans will probably get it done. I think Mike Vrabel, he's going to do what he got to do to win that game. He's going to coach those guys well, and I
He's a
think,
great players
yeah,
coach.
he's a hell of a coach. And I think this Ryan will be that game managing quarterback that he is. Ryan Tannehill game manages. He doesn't really make any big plays, but he manages games. I
Right.
think AJ Brown, and I think actually Julio might have a good game. I think Derrick Henry will eclipse 80 to 100.
Man,
And I know Julio hasn't really had over 60 yards probably all season. Really, probably one game.
I want to see it so bad. I just want to see it so because I love Julio. But if he has his best game is in the playoff, I'm gonna be hot
Yeah, that'd be,
because like
but that'd be amazing though. Cool story. Why not?
it'd be a great story. It'd be a great story. He's also been dealing with his ankle all year, so I understand. Like he's had some issues there, so I can't be a hater too much because I love Julio. Julio, I worked with him in Atlanta for a while. Like great dude.
Mm.
I'll expose a number of success, but damn, I'll be so hot. I think more so because I'm thinking from a fantasy standpoint, and I hate that I'm thinking that way. Because like I always draft people that I'm like, yo, his boy gonna cook. Like he's
Yeah.
motivated. Like he got it, and then like some fluky stuff happens and he can't play. And then the playoffs happen and they're cooking. Like Elijah Mitchell's a great example of that. Like I didn't have a running back for the last 5 weeks of my fantasy year because he was out, and then he gets in the playoffs and cooks. And I'm like, cool, thanks. But I'm like, hey, bro, I'm rooting for you as a person. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, but okay, you got the Bengals, I got the Titans. I'm looking forward to Saturday. It'll be a good one. Now the
Let's take
last
that.
game that we got to talk about. This game is real interesting, because I'm one of them guys, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you. A lot of people might not agree with this, but I'm one of them guys that think Josh Allen is good as Patrick Mahomes. I think he's right there. I don't think he's far off. Obviously Mahomes been ticked the league by storm the last couple of years, but I think Josh Allen is right there, man.
Thank you on that. I'll
And
absolutely agree with that.
okay, cool. Just making sure. And then now it's clicking in my head to where last season when they actually got eliminated in the AFC Championship game, if I'm not mistaken, Stephon Diggs stayed on the field, man. He watched them celebrate. He watched them do their thing. I think they're gonna have that extra type of, that little. I want to take them down. I want to beat them. And Josh Allen is fresh off of a 21 for 25, 5 touchdown pass game. So that right there, outside of the Rams and the Bucks, I think that might be my game to watch. I'm going to be glued to the screen.
Oh, that one you got to
And
watch.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it now, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. I think Tre'Davious White being out, obviously out for the season is a big loss for the Bills.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna still side with the Bills in this one, man. I think that they're gonna come with vengeance. I think they're gonna come at him. I think they're gonna try to contain Mahomes as best as they can. But I think Dawson Knox will find the end zone. I think even Diggs will find the end zone, and I think Singletary, who's been scoring as of late the past couple of weeks, to find the end zone as well. And then Josh Allen's gonna manage the game with his legs and his arm. It's
Let me tell
real
you
two
something.
similar quarterbacks though. It's real two similar quarterbacks. If you look at their game, actually, it's really similar. So, who you got? Talk to me with this game. Bills Chiefs.
Let me tell you something. Looking at Bills Chiefs, I'm just gonna hit you with these four stats off the bat. The Chiefs are third in the league in offense. Bills are fifth. Chiefs are the 27th best defense. Bills are the first. They got the best defense in the league, bro. Jordan Poyer has played unreal
Yeah,
this year. I
yeah.
think that's somebody who's really got to get some love on his pod because for someone who really led a defense this season, that young man has done an incredible job. Obviously, we know the Chiefs passing attack, they're fourth versus the Bills are ninth. Again, now we go to the other side of that coin is the Chiefs are 16th in rushing while the Bills are in 6th.
Mhm.
So the Chiefs win this through the air, plain and simple. We know what the Chiefs are going to do. It's how they won a
Right.
Super Bowl. It's how they continue to do it. But this year has felt very different than
Different.
any other
Yeah.
year with the Kansas City Chiefs. When you watch the game, it's like, okay, we have figured out either how to play them or how to disrupt Patrick enough to where
Mhm.
he can't be doing miracles every third down.
Yeah,
Like they
and
have
that's pretty
figured
much when the
that
miracles
out.
start to happen. Literally.
They figured that part out. And there's teams that they lost to, just like you shouldn't have lost to them, but they just knew how to play those one or two plays, right? You had guys like Tyreek get hurt. The Chiefs got decimated with injuries on and off. But like you said, between Patrick and Josh, like you put the mechanics there, they're
Yeah,
very similar
real similar.
quarterbacks. Josh is a lot stronger than people give him credit for. He's a lot faster than
Faster.
people give him
Mhm.
credit for. Um, he just may not be as agile as Patrick, but when that man can get an open field, he can move. And between the difference between him and Patrick is Josh will lower that shoulder,
Yeah, yeah.
and he will definitely he'll definitely get you another 3 yards or so.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
um, I think for the sake of this, I think for the sake of the pod, put a little spice on. I still gonna take the Chiefs on it. I gotta ride with the light skinned king on this,
Okay.
but I can't go against the facts that the Bills are very good and the Chiefs will have to earn this win. And you brought up the point about Stephon Diggs staying on the field, watch it. That team is going to be extremely hungry.
Mhm.
So with a target on their back, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to deliver a damn near flawless game in order to win this one.
That's a fact. That's well said. You pretty much wrapped up the NFL talks with that one. That was amazing. Um, Last question before we switch to quick basketball talks before we wrap up the pod. Thank you again for coming
Got
on.
you.
Um,
Yeah, of course.
Real quick, we talked wild card divisional. We're not gonna be able to, obviously can't talk the AFC NFC championship game because it's not here yet. So
Right.
with the team that's remaining, the 18 that's remaining, who do you have making the Super Bowl and who do you have winning the Super Bowl before we transfer over?
Who do I have making the Super Bowl? Who do I have winning the Super Bowl? Golly. Um, NFC. God, all four of these teams are so good.
So
You look
I
at them.
so I know you have Packers and Bucks. So who do you
Yeah.
have winning between that game right there?
Packers and Bucks, I think. God, I can't. I just can't go away again. I want to let him go, and I can't. I think it's got to be Tom again. Like it's just, I want to let him go, but I can't because it's just like I'm a big advocate of like when teams are having fun. I think they're the best teams in their league. Like when they like their teammates and they're enjoying playing with another. The Buccaneers love playing with each other. Like they
Uh-huh.
are a very like friendly team with like each other in regards of just like camaraderie and hanging out and doing whatever it is. Like they are the definition of brothers. I think the Packers are all business. So
Mm,
I think that sometimes shoots them in the foot to where they
I
forget to
like
enjoy
that.
the game.
I like that.
So that's why I choose Tampa Bay. Um, for the AFC though, and honestly, part of me really wants the Rams to go to the Super Bowl just because simply because of Matt Stafford and Odell, like
Mm-hmm.
those two, if they can get there, that would be incredible. Now I
Yeah.
can't, I just don't think they're going to, but if they do, I'm not going to hate it. And also as a Chicago guy, as much as I like respect and care for Aaron Rodgers' career, Chicago guy, it's tough to really root for the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
But I still show them love when I can. AFC.
I
I
think
know
you
I picked
said
Kansas City.
Bengals and Chiefs. So between
Yeah,
them
I know I
two.
picked out of Bengals and Chiefs. I think Kansas City would go. But if the Bills win, I think the Bills go.
Okay, and then now give me your pick between the Bills and the Bucks or the Chiefs and the Bucks. Are you siding with Tom Brady again?
Chiefs and Bucks, I would side with Tom again. Bills and Bucks, I think Buffalo wins that.
Hmm.
I think Buffalo wins that because of how strong that defense is.
Okay.
Because Buffalo's defense is strong. Now, and if you put them pen to paper, if you put their offense, defense, I think the Bills' offense in some ways is a bit
A
stronger.
bit, yeah. You can see, you can definitely say that. I definitely agree with you on that one. You can definitely say that for sure. I think they come at
Um,
you with sort of kind of like a variety of ways as well, like the Chiefs. But I think it's just stronger, tougher to play against a little bit.
Again, and it's at that point it's about that hunger. I think. I mean, we can never count out Tom as much as we want to. Like
Hmm.
we're like, all right, bro, like go take a vacation. Like you went to Tampa to chill. Like you didn't go to Tampa to win all this. Like cut it out. Go make some more TikToks so I can check them out. Like, but like now, but like the man is a winner. Like he's a winner, and even when he loses, he wins. So
Right.
it's like you can't count against him too much, and I respect the hell out of that man. But I think if it was them versus Buffalo, I think the hunger from Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Jordan Poyer, who, if you haven't, he put out a great piece of what he battled through the last few years in his life. I would absolutely advocate for it about how he was recovering from alcoholism. So
Wow.
it's a very powerful piece. So there's a lot of great stories within Buffalo to where you watch those and you're like, they could do it.
Hmm.
They really could. And those are the type of teams that win and people remember. So I think Kansas City is just too bad. Like they're a little bit too beat up, and I think Tom and those guys will figure it out. If LA got there, again, I don't think Buffalo, Buffalo and or Kansas City could pretty much do what they want to that team
Hmm.
on the defensive side. Even though the defense is good, I just think they wouldn't be prepared for it. So yeah, that's
Okay.
that's that's what I would go with.
Okay. Well, I have a couple more questions for you. Thanks for that lengthy NFL talks with me. A couple more
Man,
questions
of
with you. We're going
course,
to switch it to the association, NBA basketball, and
the
just real quick, you
association.
know, the Memphis Grizzlies, man. I want to go ahead and just go
Oh
ahead
my
and tap
god,
in and talk about them. They remind me of one of these young teams when the Warriors were coming, when OKC was coming. So I'm going to talk about them. They're sitting at 31-15 right now, third in the West. John Morant obviously is the best player on that team and leading the way, but they have a couple guys that stepped up their game and improved their game this season. Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson, he's looking like a solid defensive player of the year candidate. They traded for Steven Adams. So let's talk Memphis Grizzlies really quickly. What's your thoughts on the Memphis Grizzlies, and do you think they can make a real deep playoff run in the Western Conference this season?
Uh, let's just talk about Memphis for a second. Like, I did not at all guess this for Memphis. Like, I couldn't have guessed this at all. I'm a big Ja guy. I love his. I've always liked his game. Like even at Mercer State, like I loved his game. I thought he was, but obviously he deserved the pick he got.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he plays with a passion. Like he plays how he plays how Westbrook played in OKC that year. They went to the finals. That's what that really reminds me of.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have very solid pieces. You mentioned a guy like Desmond Bain, who I'm not even gonna lie to you. I had to Google him like 3 days ago because I was like, because there's so many people in the NBA now
Yeah,
because of COVID and injuries to where
yeah.
like there might be a 10-dayer. And I'm like, why do I keep getting alerts for a Desmond Bain? Like, who is this? It's like when you play like your franchise league in
Mm-hmm.
NBA 2K21, you just get a ton of like new players that got no faces.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I didn't know who these dudes were. But I mean, they're cooking. A guy like Kyle Anderson, who I have a love hate relationship with Kyle Anderson because the way he plays, his name is slow mo.
The
He
slow
plays
mo,
in slow
yeah.
motion.
Yeah.
But it works, and it drives me insane as a fan that like nobody can stop him.
Right.
You see the resurgence of Steven Adams. Like there's a big it's a fun team out there, and I think they can make a run. I don't think they can make a far run, but I think they can make it to a point where they can at least get to if not the Western Conference Finals, but the round before that. I think they would have to upset somebody pretty big in that second round in order to get to though.
Yeah, that'll be a major upset. And I'm trying to see how it can happen. I just don't know, man. So I do know for sure. I mean, last year, obviously, and this one I knew they were coming. Last year, obviously, they played the Utah Jazz in the playoffs, and they
Mm-hmm.
lost 4-1. I do remember they was able to take a game. They lost 4-1.
Yep.
I just can't see them losing in the first round this season again. I think they're going
No,
to they're going to play Dallas, or they're going to play Denver, or probably some,
Minnesota.
yeah, Minnesota, even LA probably. Who knows what's going on with LA. They can fall in that 3-6, 4-5 matchup range. I don't see Memphis taking the 2 seed. I think it's going to be Warriors and Suns at the end of the day.
Yep.
So like you said, I think it's going to be a big upset coming. So just real quick, who do you have coming out the West really quickly? While we're here speaking on the Western Conference.
Man, first Western Conference, I got to pick Phoenix. Mainly
Ooh.
for a couple of reasons. One of my clients, Joel McGee, plays on Phoenix, so I'm very much like invested into their team. To where I want to see them excel. And he's had a resurgence this year.
Who was the client you
Uh,
named?
JaVale McGee.
Oh, JaVale McGee. Okay, okay,
Uh,
okay.
so he's had a resurgence here with them, and like they've been able to play well. I think they are their own worst enemy. They have to definitely make sure they go well. I think the Warriors now, this team, reminds me of the 2015 Warriors that went
Yeah,
to the championship.
yeah.
And I worked for that team. I got a whole championship ring with them. Like it's all this.
Oh wow.
Like they remind me. Yeah, I'll show you. They remind me of that team. So like for them, I gotta figure out which one this is actually. Um, yeah, they remind me of that team because they're younger, right? So they are definitely here you go. So this is one of the if I can get it, my camera to focus on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's nice, man.
yeah, we got, but they play like that, right? Like they still have your big three. You got Dre, Clay, and Steph. But then the other guys are playing well. Jordan Poole, the surge of Jordan Poole, and people trying to almost damn near kick him out the league last year because he
Mm-hmm.
had such a rough go about it.
Yeah.
You see Kaminga's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Wiseman when he's healthy. The growth of Juan Toscano Anderson and Damian Lee and Gary Payton Jr.
Otto
or Gary
Porter.
Payton
Yeah.
second. So oh my God,
Yeah.
Otto
Yeah.
Porter, like like guys that you see as journeymen or you don't see much of are playing big time roles and are doing things on a nightly basis that's made this team a primetime team again. And they're having fun. I go back to the reason I talk about the champion side is because literally three of these joints is because they had so much fun playing the game together. And the
Mm-hmm.
ones they lost is the years they did not have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I really live and die by that. So seeing the teams that are enjoying the company of their teammates and the people around them, like those always feel like they make it a longer run because it's not work at the end of the day. It is, a passion that's they're all driving for the same thing. So I think that's going to be a great Western Conference final. And I think the winner from that ends up winning it all because those
But
two teams
see,
are so strong.
so my thing is you say you have the Suns making the finals, but you're telling me you can't side against Tom Brady. So what making you able to side against Stephen Curry and you know what they do when it comes to playoff basketball?
The reason I am siding against Steph and them this year is I just think that the Suns are stronger from a rotational and bench standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Kerr can get lost in
Yeah.
his especially in the playoffs. Seeing it firsthand, he can get lost in the top 8 and may not rotate too many folks
Mm-hmm.
because he's really trying to hey, Steph's got to play his 48, right? Clay's got to play his 48. And again, Clay's still coming. He's still like getting into game shape. Like he's still doing well, but at the end of the day, we all know playoff basketball is much different
Yeah.
than regular season basketball. So the reason I think they need another year and maybe another year for their big guys to grow because again, the game that the Warriors have lost, they haven't shot well. So
Mm-hmm.
and that was the hit or miss in 2016 when we lost against Cleveland was they weren't shooting well. So if you go against a guy like Phoenix, who they got a big inside presence, all their wings are pretty big, and then you have a pest like Chris Paul who's been a pest for years, and to add fuel and fire, Chris Paul's lost the Warriors way too many damn
Yeah.
times in his
Yeah.
career
Yeah.
to where he really and last year he really didn't get a shot to go after him because Steph was out, everybody was out. This is more like his revenge.
Mm-hmm.
If you really look at the game tape, Chris has been plotting for his revenge for years. So I think this is the one year he can do that. So I gotta go against him as much as I love Steph for those guys. I think this is the year that the Suns get to it, man.
Okay, I have two more questions before we completely wrap it up. We're going to
Oh, you're
talk.
good.
Oh, okay. We're going to talk Eastern Conference basketball. Who do you have making the finals in the Eastern Conference? I just want to go ahead and jump straight to the finals because,
Straight to the finals. All right. Well, as a Chicago guy,
yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, I want to touch on the Bulls first off before we jump to the finals. Do you think they're legit? Do you think they're Eastern Conference finals or potentially even NBA finals made or what?
I think they are Eastern Conference Finals made. Honestly, I think they need another year. I like them, man.
I can't
I
see it,
like the
man. I
Bulls.
can't see it. I can't see
I
it.
don't think they can. I don't think they can. I don't think you don't think they can make the Eastern Conference Finals.
I can't see it. I just can't see Chicago taking down. It depends on who they play, obviously, but the final four teams, I mean, in my opinion, will be Bucks, Heat, Nets, and Bulls or Sixers.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
That's
pending,
that's that's my top five.
yeah,
Yeah.
pending a Philly trade, if they do make a trade and get Ben Simmons out of there, which I think they should,
Oh,
because you can't waste a year of a center's peak like their career. Embiid is that guy right now. He's looking pretty phenomenal. He's fresh off of scoring like 8 games or 9 games of 30 points in a row.
he's cooking.
So
Yeah.
how do you feel comfortable saying that? Yeah, you feel like the Bulls can take down Miami or Brooklyn or Milwaukee in a 7-game series.
Well, one, I'm speaking as if they don't have to play them until the Eastern Conference Finals. To be completely honest with you.
Well, they gotta play. They gotta play one of them.
You think?
they
I
gotta
don't think
play
they gotta
one.
play.
Because think about it.
I can see
If it's 4 teams, they gotta meet one of them to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
out of the two. And damn, that was crazy. Being in Chicago, I'm actually a diehard Heat fan, and I like the Bulls too. But
That's actually.
I don't think they could.
Yeah, that's what I rock with too.
I don't think who Miami.
Yeah, that's what I rock with. Yeah.
Oh, I love Miami.
Yeah,
I think
big Miami.
so. As you've seen this year, Miami has had like some random names pop up that have kind of helped carry them across different games. Or like look at Kyle Guy right now. Like there's so many random people that I feel like keep rotating into them because of again COVID protocols, injuries, whatever it may be. And they're still the second seed in the division in the conference. You now have a Brooklyn team that's fully healthy. And when they are on, they're on, but when they're off, and it's bad to watch.
It is. It really is.
And I love KD and I love the guys on there, but like it's tough, and I feel bad at times. The Bulls. The reason I picked the Bulls at least going to Eastern is there is synergy there with at least that starting five that can do well. The emergence of Ayo this year, this year as the rookie, who I honestly didn't think. I thought he was going to be a Windy City playing in G League,
yeah.
when they drafted him. I really did, and now he's cracking. He's, I think, if not the most minutes off the bench.
Yeah, he should be.
He started a bunch of games, but he should be. You still got a strong bench presence with them. You got Bradley playing, Brown Jr. still playing. Caruso, when he's fully healthy again, you can't limit the impact of what Caruso brings as a pest on the top of the key. Like there's a lot of great. There's a lot of. Let me say this again. There's a lot of good second units, and I think out of all the second units, from like a Heat, from like a Brooklyn, from like a Sixers, I think the Bulls can really go against and do well against. But in a 7-game series, I do see if the Nets play how the Nets should play, I could see them winning it. Miami, you've watched them.
It might be too much defensive firepower from Miami, man. It might be too much. And another guy I like to speak on. I love him so much, and I love everything that he's doing. I like Kentucky as well. So Tyler Hero, I think he's going to be a star rather sooner than later. I think he's leading the team in scoring. He's leading all bench players in scoring. He's 6th man of the year coming soon. Arguably the most improved player, but that's another conversation. I just think it's going to be too much defense for Chicago when if they face each other in the playoffs. Where you look at Jimmy Butler, Depot will be back. Kyle Lowry, who's the pest, lead the league in charges as a guard as well. PJ Tucker, man, Bam Adebayo. It'd be a good series, but I just think.
I'm telling you, fully healthy, that is a 6 to 7 game series.
Yeah, for sure.
Both those teams play they want to play. Like Tyler is having a hell of a year. I think about after the year he had last year. Holy man, people ate that poor boy alive.
Yeah.
Like they ate him alive for what he's done. So like Miami has done some crazy stuff. Like I said, they had a lot of like. You couldn't have imagined like a guy like Yurt7 coming in and now he leads the team in rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Like there's guys you're seeing like, who are you? Again, this goes back to my previous point to where I'm like Googling people like they're created players. Like there's no chance this is a real person.
Right.
And you see guys like Caleb Martin getting there and getting big time minutes from time to time.
I like him. He's working.
Working, man.
Yeah, he's working.
He works. He reminds me of the guy in Chicago too. Javante Green, that dude was a journeyman, works. Yeah, you're just out there working. So I think it's a big deal. And it's going to be who outworks who. Do I think any of those teams can win Against Phoenix, no, unfortunately. Like I would love to see it, maybe. But I just think the way that Phoenix is playing, they're just very fluid with their firepower. But the Eastern Conference is going to come down to those five teams you mentioned, right?
So, so,
Um,
so what would stop Milwaukee from taking down Phoenix if they were to meet again? I
Honestly,
just
I just think injury at some point. I really just think an injury is like something that's going to hold them back.
okay.
Also, too, I feel like, and you again, let me know your thoughts on this. I think DeAndre Ayton is playing much differently than he played in that finals or in
Man,
that year. Like,
it, Devin Booker, and just to comment on what you just said, Devin Booker, like I said, I like Kentucky a lot, so I support pretty much every player from Kentucky. Devin Booker is my favorite.
respect.
You know, Devin Booker is my favorite shooting guard, and he was so close to his first championship, and I feel like that would have separated him from the shooting guard debate where you have Jalen Brown, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, all the guys.
He does not deserve to be in. Like, those are great guys. No
Mhm.
disrespect to him. He's better than the handful you mentioned on so many levels.
And I feel the same way. So I feel like Aiton really set that team back in that postseason, that finals series because he wasn't what he was. At Arizona, we seen Aiton dominate in college. He was a big, strong guy. We seen him come in the league averaging a double double. He was Aiton, but against that series, he wasn't that guy. But this season, I'm definitely seeing a different step, a pepping his step a little bit more. He's more physical down low. He's finishing around the rim. He's finishing with his right or his left hand, post fade, and doing it all. So. I like the Suns team, man. I can't disagree with what you're saying, but I think it'll be interesting. It's hard to really call right now.
I think it'd be interesting. And again, like you said, the way that he played in that finals, and the way if you look at him now, how he
Mm.
played in that final, it's a totally different game. And that as simple as a pick and roll can be, Phoenix runs the pick and roll the best. There's a stat I wish I had it in front of me. DeAndre and JaVale are the top two pick and roll like recipients of the league because of how well they run that. And they get it every time. And I don't understand how like it's the most simple thing that we've all seen our entire lives
Yeah,
in basketball. But this team, like Chris Paul is a magician. Like he'll figure out ways like, all right, well, I'm gonna do a step back, fake out, then I'm gonna go through your legs, hit you with a layup, now you're
yeah,
pissed off. Like he finds ways to do it.
that's true.
And I think this year they just get it done, man. Like, and maybe Chris just goes into he's like, all right, I got mine, I'm out. I'm gonna go produce some movies or something.
Well, look, man, I'm hoping that happens, and it'll be interesting to see. My last question for you, Devin, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is probably the most open I ever seen in my 16, 17, 18 years of keeping up with basketball. The MVP race. Who do you think will win the MVP this season? That's my last question to you. Go ahead and take your time. Do whatever you got to do. Brainstorm.
Jesus.
What you have, Kevin
I
Durant.
really got to look at the list.
I think
Because
Kevin Durant.
this
I
is not
think
easy.
yeah, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry. You have Jokic, who's keeping Denver around without Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, and so forth. You have Embiid. You have who some people are starting
So
to
they got
rumble around.
Giannis in there every
Giannis.
year. Like,
And some people as of late are starting to say Ja Morant. Who
I love
season?
that Jaws in there.
Yeah, his season is sort of kind of similar to Derrick Rose MVP season. So who's your MVP this season? And I can't really say and why, but if you want to say and why, you can go ahead and give me why you think they should be MVP.
Um, wow, the jaw inclusion is so good. But we have to talk about DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah. DeRozan too. DeRozan, I left him out. Yeah, DeRozan too.
I think you have to put DeMar in there. Because he was definitely my pick. But to go back to Phoenix, man, a guy that again for another year is not getting talked about is Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how again him and Devin Booker. You can throw Devin Booker in there, whether it's like a co-MVP situation, but they are running, man. Like they are doing some incredible stuff. I love KD throwing Kevin in there because he's pretty much willed Brooklyn all season long with everything that's going on in Brooklyn
Right.
this year. Like he's willed them. I don't really want to put Joker in there because he's doing well, but there's just a lot going on there.
Yeah.
But DeMar, man, like fourth quarter, the king of the fourth, man. Like he's individually winning games for Chicago. And Chicago has some great guys, right? They got Lonzo, you still got Zach, but DeMar is the first one who can really, out of all of that that whole team, honestly, I think can create his own shot. I think
Mm-hmm.
everyone else needs some additional help. DeMar's the only one who creates his own shot, and you're going to go to him at the end of the game. So similar to like a Kevin, similar to like a Steph, similar to like a Devin Booker, I think DeMar should be up there. So I'm gonna go with some folks off the list. I think it should be the DeMar, Chris Paul, and I might even throw, I said if you could do a co-MVP, then do like a same team
Yeah.
situation. But off the list, I'm going to go with KD just because of what he's done with Brooklyn. But I think those are just the ones that we've mentioned. We all have heard them. I think this year should be a year for a different name, similar to how we did with Jokic last year.
Right.
But if you got to go with one of the OGs, then KD. I see Steph in there too, right? Because again, this makes you feel like Steph 2015 MVP
Exactly.
year.
Yeah. Unanimous.
You really feel like that year. So I think a combination of those four. But I think just to keep it spicy and to throw it out there, I think it'd be cool to see DeMar get it, which he deserves some love in this too.
Okay, well said. Well, Devin, thank you so much for coming on Facts and Stats. This episode 76 is now wrapping up. You have anything else to say before I let you go?
No, man, if y'all ever already followed and tapped in on my man's podcast, please do show some love. Hit the comments in there. If you think my takes were trash, please let me know too. Um, and you ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I'm saying this is the end of the day. We all debate, we talk sports, and at the end of the day, it's either facts, stats, or some people say cap. So we want to make it happen.
Yeah, true. Thank you so much, man.